We saw last time that the frame had not only a lot of grease on it, but also tar. So I looked in the garage and saw that I had some turtle wax bug and tar remover, applied it to some of the tar stains, and we'll see the results. According to the directions, you need to spray it on and then let it soak in for a minute or two, and then rub it off. I already did this on the other side and it worked pretty well, so we'll see what happens here. You do have to use a lot of elbow grease, but yeah, there it comes. The big stain you see underneath is rust. Not rust, but where the paint has chipped off. But yeah, the tar has come off. So hooray for turtle wax. The other thing I noticed when I was putting the bug and tar remover on is that this little crevice in the kickstand here has what I think, or I hope, is a lot of grease on it. So I'm just gonna put some of that degreaser on a toothbrush here. Yeah, that's just grease. So get in there, get that off there. Now that we've gotten the tar off, we can get going, starting the first part of the paint restoration process, which is the Maguiar's Ultimate Compound. And then we're going to first soak the greasy components of the crank, and then get going on the handlebars, and we'll see if we can get some of the crank chain ring and whatnot polished up as well. That's what's happening on this episode of Featherstone Bicycles. Very first thing I'm going to do, because I'm going to need this bowl, is we remember last episode we had the chain soaking in the finish line, one step cleaner and lubricant. So I'm going to put that away, and then I'm going to put our bottom bracket cups, which are extremely greasy, take apart our crank piece here, which again, I always have to think about this, is opposite thread. Put that in there. There's a little washer and the cone ring, cone nut, I guess it is. So we're going to let those parts soak in there. The reason I started with that is because I want that to soak for a day or two in the solvent, those pieces from the bottom bracket, because they are really crusty with grease. So we'll let that solvent do its thing in there. And then I'm going to put the compound on the frame now and then wipe it off. And then I'm assuming we'll have enough time left to work on the handlebars, the crank, and the chainring. So again, we're using Maguiar's Ultimate Compound. It's a liquid compound. You put it on and then you rub it right off. Compound is now on and rubbed off. I'm going to work on these handlebars, and when I was taking the old tape off, I noticed there was this area here. I'm not sure what this is. This is just old adhesive that was on the back of the tape. Seems to be kind of thick in some places and not so much in others. We'll just try a little, I'll just use some simple green on some steel wool. That's just normally what I would do anyway on the handlebars, but yeah, this is pretty on here, pretty thick. So let's see how much of it we can get off. The areas that are just have a little bit of it are coming off with the steel wool, but not so much the other parts. I'm not worried about scratching the handlebars up with this razor blade and the utility knife because we're going to wrap these with tape anyway. Just putting a little bit of pressure on it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but handlebars are really damaged here, and it almost looks like they were, gosh, I'm not even sure. It's like the chrome was applied over that damage. It seems kind of weird because that part of the handlebar would be exposed. The tape only goes up to about here. So it's hard to believe Schwinn would have let that leave the factory that way. Maybe it got dented afterwards and it didn't really affect the chrome, although that's hard to believe as well. We've got our handlebars, chain ring, crank, all shined up, cleaned up, and ready to go and start on with some next parts. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for sticking with me. Don't forget, check out the link in the description to a podcast, An Army of Normal Folks. And I hope to see you next time on Featherstone Bicycles.